It's the fucking Nazis! I am the Ruthless Wonder, not A Ruthless Wonder. You are back on the Wrath of Ruthless, and this is a special unscheduled episode. Where the fuck am I? Did I wake up in another timeline? Have I somehow accidentally ended up in a different dimension? I could have sworn when I left town to go down to Texas, I didn't drive through any wormholes. Now, I did get tired at some point. Maybe I drove back through one on the way back from Austin. I don't know what the fuck's going on. However, what I will say is, apparently, we have decided that not only are we going to let Nazis continue to march in the streets of America, think about that for a second, we're also going to allow them to keep their jobs when they get found out. Listen, I'm all for all kinds of dastardly shit in the first place. This is your favorite supervillain after all. But I look out here these past few days and I'm watching people on social media in person, and for God's sakes, actual Christians that I've gone to church with before say we should listen to the Nazi side. Now let me back this train up a little bit, because some of you people are new, you don't understand what's going on. You don't understand why I'm talking about this the way I am. Because some of you don't understand how this works. Alright, check it out. Real simple. Hitler was a fuckwit. Let's back that up even further. I'm a little pissed off still. The concept of the National Socialist Party, the Nazi Party, was one of, let us blame the ills of German inadequacy in terms of war effort on the people from outside Germany. And then they encapsulated that in what they quote unquote would call undesirable. So Jews, the infirm, black people, gay people, all of these groups that were not the perfect Aryan picture of Germans, aka blonde-haired, blue-eyed German people. And they made exceptions for brown hairs. But anyway, this became a ridiculous moment in the history of humanity where a leader, subsequently different to previous ones, not only tried to conquer outside his country, but also decided to expunge those in his country that he felt were undesirable. I say this was a very weird time, because that doesn't happen in the modern age. No. You don't fight the war and try to get rid of a bunch of people. You use those people to fight the war previously. What do I mean? Well, look at the slaves in America forced to help fight for the Americans' freedom. Forced to fight the War of 1812. Forced to fight at numerous points. Anyway, you then have what we call the neo-Nazis. Now, we're going to skip ahead a few dozen decades and get to this point where we're talking about neo-Nazis. That's not really easy to explain. A bunch of history LARPers decided they loved Adolf Hitler so much, not so much they wanted to follow his lead and shoot themselves like the Lord intended, but that they wanted to restart his campaign here in America. You'll notice that a lot of them now include veterans of current wars, but if you talk to a World War II vet and say, I'm a neo-Nazi, they'll probably punch you in the face, because they don't play that. But I want to get to Charlottesville because it's going to take a while to get through all the Nazi history, and we're going to skip all that because that's not what's important here, and this is a short video. Well, short recording. You're only seeing a picture. Anyway, the situation in Charlottesville really struck me. Not so much the physical acts themselves. I'm at this point used to Nazis being assholes. I'm at this point used to black people not being protected by the police departments that their tax dollars pay for. I'm used to 45 not being able to answer for the white supremacy that supports him as his very base. In fact, even calling out his name like David Duke did. I'm used to that. That's normal. That's every day. That's not what bothers me. What bothers me is this. When I hopped on social media after that occurrence, when I was sharing things that were bringing light to what was going on. When I was uh, helping spread the word of the men and women in the photos and their jobs and their Facebook pages to make sure that they got fired from those positions, because freedom of speech does not mean freedom of consequence. When I was doing that, I found a lot of Christian people saying, we should combat this evil with love. I found a lot of black people saying, free speech doesn't necessarily mean, letting people that you just what you like. Yeah, they said it stupidly. Letting people that only people you like say what they want. It means everyone. I found people saying, let's hear out the Nazis. Fuck no. And I don't really have an easier way of saying this. I'm not going to say this without cursing. You know how the show works. I'm saying, fuck no. To the people from various churches that I know very well and that know me very well. Those of you who have decided that your only reaction to the literal murder of people is, well, we're going to combat this with love. That doesn't work. You see, this is not a situation where Christians are being persecuted, and therefore we should turn the other cheek, as Christ says, for our suffering can be rewarded in heaven. This is not a situation like that. This is not a situation where this is a battle against principalities and powers, not amongst ourselves, but amongst God versus the devil. This is not that. This is literal people versus literal people. What do I mean? Let's get deeper than this. If this were a situation of, well, this is a bad ideology and it's making life hard to be a Christian, I might have you. But these are not people who say that they're anything other than Christian. In fact, if you look at many of the pages of these white supremacist groups, these neo-Nazi groups, these Klan member groups, of course the Klan, very well known to have been packing churches all over the South and in the North in some cases. These are these people. These are judges. These are lawyers. These are policemen. These are mayors. These are congressmen. These are senators. These are over and over again people in power, but also people who think they share the same Christian ideology as you do. And your inability to call them out shows me who you really are. Because iron sharpens iron, remember? That means that you should be calling out those who do ill in Christ's name in the same way that you would call out those in your household doing ill to your house. Well, I'm not here to preach. That ain't what I do. What I am here to talk about, though, is the step forward, where we go next. Now, you'll notice I have not advocated the punching of Nazis. I'm not going to advocate the punching of Nazis. Here's why I'm not going to do that. One, that could be seen as fighting words and inciting violence. And as an attorney, I have a special burden to not do those kinds of things. But I'm also not going to do it because it's not really the solution I want. See, one of the things that we've learned is that you don't fight people who buy ink by the gallon, right? That's an old saying. Well, I'm sure I didn't even have it correct, but you get what I mean. You don't fight the press. Well, in the internet age, you don't fight people with Google. Listen, these hate groups are no longer anonymous. These guys didn't even go out with hoods on. They weren't out here trying to hide who they were. So I want you to do me a favor. I want you people out here looking for Nazis. I want you to support those people. I want you folks that are looking for Nazis in Google searches, trying to do Google image matches and looking for folks. I want you to make sure you're correct before you publish it. I want you to find the correct people. And I want you to let the world know who these people are, because they clearly want the press of being out in the public. They want people to know who they are. This isn't about, hiding anymore. For them, they want everyone to know who they are. So I want you to be accurate. I want you to have the correct information. I want you to show their Facebook pages. I want you to show their Twitter accounts. I think you should email their jobs and let them know that their employees are doing. In fact, I think you should make sure that if they have any sponsorships, because they have podcasts or other types of shows, I think those sponsors should get to know as well. I want you to go out. I want you to again get accurate information. I don't want you putting up photos and not being sure if that's the right guy or not. I want you to make sure you know, no, this is the dude. No, this is the girl. Because that's what we're at now. We're no longer at a place where people can be hid behind masks. We're no longer in a place where people want to be hid behind those masks either. We're in a place now where they want notoriety. So give them all the notoriety. Give them everything they want. Show the world. See, we're no longer in a place where you have to be afraid of Nazis. Now, yes, they can cause violence like anyone else can, but you don't have to be afraid anymore because they can't hide anymore. They can't run anymore. The entire world is connected. We all can access each other in minutes, seconds if necessary. So don't let them hide either. They want notoriety, give it to them. Let them eat cake, if you will. I don't have a lot to say here. I watched Nazis march in American City, protected by police. I watched protesters get beaten and bloody by Nazis, and the police did nothing. I have watched people claim to be proud Americans and hold up swastikas. Meanwhile, the Germans decided that an American making a bunch of Nazi salutes needed to be punched in the face. Again, I can't advocate the punching of Nazis, but I do think it's funny that Germany is not only so ashamed, but so annoyed and angered by the very presence of anything Nazi-related that they would literally punch an American doing a Nazi salute. I mean, hey, again, I can't tell you good on you, because I can't advocate the punching of Nazis. But what I can say is, don't be stupid. Think about it. Germany is embarrassed and ashamed of what they've done, and so they have made anything Nazi-related outlawed. America has never been embarrassed by the KKK, the neo-Nazis, or any other white supremacist group, and that's why you still have them marching in the streets. Look, we can get into a deeper discussion of First Amendment issues like that very soon. And maybe what I'll do is I'll get a hold of some classic members of the Wrath of Ruthless, of the World's Don't Do It Justice podcast, and we'll have that First Amendment discussion. But I can't really say, all right, let's talk about this with just me here. Let's get into a deeper discussion. Let's get the right people for that, and we'll have that maybe here very soon, maybe not. For now, though, like I said, make sure you have accurate information. Don't publish photos that you can't verify are the correct person. Do not attempt to go out and assault people who claim to be neo-Nazis, Nazis, or, of course, fucking KKK or other white supremacist group members. Save that for the police. Do not go out and make veiled, unveiled, or thinly veiled threats against these people. That is also illegal. Do not do these things. That is not what I am telling you to do. That is expressly not. But what I am saying is, if these people want notoriety, if you find pictures in media where they're posing, trying to show off their Nazi garb and all that, be sure to find out that the correct person is, who the correct person is, and put that person up, and let the world see their face. They took the hoods off. It used to be they put the hoods on because they had other jobs. Now they have the hoods off all the time. So make sure they get the notoriety they deserve for it. Now, I'm out of here. I've got other stuff to do today, but I wanted to get this quick message in. I also wanted to say rest in peace to the young woman whose life was taken during the Charlottesville protests. I think we are all saddened that life was lost. Also, to the two law enforcement officers who died in the helicopter crash. Uh, thoughts and prayers with their families. For all three, of course. Um, I do hope that moving forward, we can get some leadership out of leaders. Maybe even see the people in charge actually decry what's going on here. I doubt it, but one can hope. Until then, I am the Ruthless Wonder, not A Ruthless Wonder, and this has been a quick hit of the Wrath of Ruthless. I'll be back with a full show later this month. Bye bye.